Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everybody. This is Mr. Hamada on behalf of Al-Ruwad International Schools and the English department. I'd like to welcome you all to this lesson. Literature, just be yourself. This is the new selection for today. If you open your Schoology account, this is where you'll find the lesson. You go to first semester and then you scroll down to week 9. In order to find what do we have today, tomorrow, or after tomorrow, or Thursday, you need to have a look at the weekly agenda. For this selection, literature, for this lesson, just be yourself or just be yourself. We have the discussion forum. What will you do in the discussion forum? You send the answers to the question that I will post there. And these are the objectives of the lesson. The daily attendance, you do it to confirm your attendance. Media and teaching resources, videos there. This link will take you to the soft copy of the lesson. Classwork, you take a picture of certain questions that you answered and you send them here. And this link will take you to the game, quizzes, assessment. And the assignment is here. Of course, you will do it on Savas. And that's the exit card, is a question that you answer before you leave the lesson. And the lesson agenda will be posted here. What's the lesson agenda? It's this one. Okay. Let's get started with the selection here. Just Be Yourself is a friendly letter written by somebody called Stephanie Pellegrin. What do you know about this author? We'll find the information here. This is Stephanie Pellegrin. Background to the selection. Only I want you to limit your information to only this selection. Just be yourself. If you're planning to use the soft copy, you simply go to table of contents, click on rite of passage, which is unit 1, and then you scroll down to small group planning. You will find here You Are the Electric Boogaloo. If you click on it, it will take you directly to this page. Making meaning. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to, number 1, reply to this essential question. Number 2, you familiarize yourself with 3 words and you conduct the fast read. You answer the comprehension check questions. You do a research related to one of the topics in the lesson. Conduct the close read the text. Analyze the text. Craft and structure. Some points in language development, concept vocabulary, word study, word network, and some conventions, grammar. And for the effective expressions about speaking and evidence block, we will not do them. So let's get started. Now I want you in the discussion forum to answer this question. What are some milestones on the path to growing up? What are some stops, important events, incidents in your life that can mark a dramatic change in your life? To some people, according to some people, it might be getting married, buying a car, issuing a driving license, or losing somebody dear. It can be a letter from someone. It can be a post on Facebook. So think of what can be the milestones on your own life. Now let's get started for the vocabulary. We've got here 3 words. Think of them. Immense, majestic, numerous. They are available on the book. These words are available on page 44. These are the words. I want you to think of the meaning of these words, immense and majestic and numerous. Stop the video, then think, what about the word immense? Immense means?
Immense. Adjective. Very large, huge.
If you find difficulty finding the meaning of this word, you can look to the context here. For example, here, where's the word immense? Here, that's immense. So find clues in this sentence or the other words around it to help you find the meaning of this word immense. The next word is majestic. Majestic is?
Majestic. Adjective. Very grand, dignified, king
or king-like. Next word is?
Numerous. Adjective. Very many, existing in large numbers.
So numerous means very many or existing in large numbers. Based on the context, this word actually you will find it on paragraph 4 in Just Be Yourself. Numerous here, the word numerous. So based on the context around it, you can find the meaning. You can underline activities because this is a clue or a context clue to the meaning of numerous. So that's for the vocabulary. What about the fast read? Okay. Fast read, this is the model for fast read. You should use this organizer to record your first read ideas. How will you record it? Number one, you notice, annotate, connect, and then you respond. What do you notice? You notice who the letters are about, what happens, where and when it happens, and why those involved react as they do. Have a quick look at the picture or the selection, and while reading you will need to reply to the notice. And you write your notes here. What do you need to annotate? You're going to annotate by marking vocabulary and key passages you want to revisit. You connect, and then you connect what you learned in this lesson to your previous knowledge. And the last thing, you're going to answer the comprehension check question. How does your fast read should look like? This is how it should look like after you finish the reading. Yes, you're going to use these symbols. You put a star next to key idea, you put an exclamation mark next to expressions you love and you want to keep using them. You want to bring them to your active language. Questions if you have a question, put a question mark if you have a question, circle the unfamiliar or important words, and dashes under context clues. What are context clues? They are definitions to other words. So your text after you conduct the fast read should look like this. It should have stars, questions, question marks, circles, because according to the person who did this fast read, he didn't know what does myriad mean, exclamation marks, and so on. So that's the fast read. And you write here the words that you circled. And here in the notice area again, you write the answers to the question that I showed you. Who and what and when and where these letters are written to whom. In the annotate, you write the vocabulary that you wanted to revisit. For example, the author here circled myriad and grading and component colors. Now he connected what he learned to his previous knowledge. He said, I remember learning about prisms in science and class. So connect what you learn here to your own experience. And you respond by answering the comprehension check questions or writing a brief summary in this area. Where will you find this first read? It's here in the book itself on page 44. That's the fast read. After we do the fast read, we will do something called close read. There is also close read text. Let's listen to the selection, and while listening I want you to put stars, question marks, exclamation marks, and so on. Ready? Steady. The author here is talking to her younger self. She's sending a letter, friendly letter, to herself when she was young. We call it younger self.
Just Be Yourself by Stephanie Pellegrin. Letter. Background. There is so much to learn and no way to tell what the future will hold. This author writes a reassuring letter to her younger self, saying that it will all work out in the end. Meet the author. Stephanie Pellegrin was in 2nd grade when she wrote her first book. Pellegrin lives in Austin, Texas, and is involved with the Austin chapter of the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Just Be Yourself by Stephanie Pellegrin. Dear Teen Me. Psst. Hey, you in the corner of the library with your nose stuck in a book. Yes, you. Don't recognize me without that awful perm, do you? Remind me again why you thought that was a good idea. Anyway, I hope you don't mind if I sit with you for a minute, but we need to talk. Don't worry about the no talking in the library rule. I'm sure we'll be fine. Librarians aren't as bad as they seem. Judging from the hair and braces, I'd have to guess you're in your junior year, yes? Thought so. I'd forgotten how many lonely lunch hours you spent in the school library. You have some friends in the cafeteria that you could sit with, but you don't feel like you really fit in, do you? That's why you joined every school club you could. I just counted, and you're in 18. Not to mention the numerous after-school activities you're involved in. I mean, honestly, you joined the ROTC. You don't even like ROTC. And I won't even bother bringing up that time you tried ballet. I'm still having nightmares about the fifth position. Let me ask you, how's it all working out? Not very well, am I right? By spending so much time trying to find yourself, you're slowly losing yourself. We don't all have one single rock star talent, and honestly, I think those of us who don't are the lucky ones. Life isn't about finding the one thing you're good at and never doing anything else. It's about exploring yourself and finding out who you really are on your own terms and in your own way. You don't have to exhaust yourself to do that. Oh, don't be so down in the dumps about it. You'll eventually find something you're good at, I promise. It's a long, winding road to get there, but you'll find it. Being able to spend all day doing what you love, or one of the things that you love, is the most amazing feeling in the world. And no, I won't tell you what it is, so don't even ask me. Just remember to always be yourself, because there's nobody else who can do it for you. I think E.E. Cummings put it best when he said, "It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are." Looks like the bell's about to ring, so I'll leave you to your book. What are you reading anyway? Oh, The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis. I should have guessed. You should give those Harry Potter books a try. I saw you roll your eyes. I know they seem like just another fad, but trust me, they're better than you think. They've got a real future.
Okay, hopefully you've conducted the fast read. You've marked some of these passages, some of the passages here with these symbols. Stop the video and start in the group. I'll send you in a breakout room to discuss the questions, exclamation marks, the controlling ideas you've marked, sharing ideas in groups, okay, in the breakout rooms for 2 minutes. Stop the video. Okay, now let's go back and continue the lesson. What about the comprehension check questions? Question number 1 and 2 are related to the electric boogaloo, so we'll skip them. Question number 3 and 4, we will answer them. What does this question say? Question 3. Why did the author join so many clubs when she was a stranger? Again, question 3. Why did the author join so many clubs when she was a teenager? And question 4. What does the author tell her teen self is happening as a result of all the time she's spending trying to find herself? Again, I'll send you breakout rooms for 2 minutes to discuss these questions. Back. Okay, what are the answers to these questions? Question number 1, that's the answer to number 1. The author was trying to find her talents and skills, and you can also say that the author was trying to find her points of strengths. That's also correct. Question number 3, the answer is the author believes that in trying so hard to figure out who she is, her teenage self is actually losing herself. Next, now the research. Choose at least one unfamiliar detail from one of the letters. Probably you're gonna find something from this letter. Just be yourself, not the other one. And briefly research it in details. So for me, I had a problem with the fifth position, as I highlighted it here. Here I did highlight the fifth position, and when I looked for it, this is how it looks like when you're conducting the fifth position. Check. Now I want you to check whether you can do it or not. It's like one of the tactics or one of the skills a ballet player has to master. Back. So I want you all on your own to choose at least one unfamiliar detail from this passage and look for it. Now let's go to the close read the text. What's close read the text? With your group, I want you to revisit sections of the text that you marked during your first read, and annotate what you notice and what questions do you have and what can you conclude. Let me show you an example of how the close read will look like. Here it is. So guys, that's the close read. After you marked stars and you wrote notes, this star means this is an explanation of sunlight and starlight. The question, what question was in your head when you put this question mark? It was this. So after you do this marking, you should now in group discuss or revisit the sections of the text that you marked during your first read and read the sections closely and annotate what you notice. And you ask your questions to your friends about the text. What can you conclude, and start sharing ideas. Here, for example, in paragraph 3, this what happened. In paragraph 4, this what happened. Analyze the text. Think about the author's choice of patterns and structures and techniques and ideas included in the text. Select one only and record your thoughts about what this choice conveys. In the quick write, you pick a paragraph, one of the paragraphs in the selection, and from the text that grabbed your interest, explain the power of this passage. For example, the first paragraph grabbed my attention, especially by that sentence or this sentence. So after you finish the close read, stop the video and do it, and then let's go for the analyze text. This takes us again to the essential question: what are some milestones in the path to growing up? And we did answer it. What kind of milestones do the letters include here? And why are they important? With your group, you discuss it. Type. Something else I want to share with you also, it's about here, now we're done with the concept of vocabulary, immense and majestic and numerous, the meanings of them. You should be able to define them and use them also into meaningful sentences. You know that a word that ends with IC is adjective, and also OUS is also an adjective. Think of other words that end with IC, like majestic, informatic, static, so all of them are adjectives. Numerous, other words that end with the suffix OUS, like spacious, calamitous, and so on. Now for the word study done. Conventions, that's also important. Verbs can express different modes. They can be either indicative or imperative or interrogative. Indicative modes are facts. When a sentence expresses facts and opinions, it's indicative. If a sentence expresses commands or requests, this is considered imperative. What about interrogative modes? Yes, interrogative modes, they express questions. So there are 3 verb modes that you should be able to identify. In the exercises, you will be given a sentence and you need to decide whether this sentence expresses what kind of verb mode, indicative or imperative or interrogative. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me on the discussion forum or in the WhatsApp group. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.